This conference is going to discuss the priorities for phasing out paper processes in Parliament. I will be the moderator for this panel, and it's my pleasure to welcome again Mr. Clement Nyandiere from the Parliament of Kenya, Mr. Visvalingam Muralithas from the Parliament of Sri Lanka, Mr. Tahir Farooq from the National Assembly of Pakistan, and Mr. Mark Stodder from Xcential Legislative Technologies in the United States. Hello, Mark. Great to see you again.
And good to see you again, Luís.
Clement, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We are just waiting for Tahir and Mr. Muralithas to rejoin us.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, there he goes. Perfect.
Yes.
Hello, Tahir. Very good to see you.
Thank you. Same here.
Well, allow me to explain the format of our debate today. We have 4 questions, one directed to each one of you. After you answer this question, I will invite all the colleagues to provide their comments and insights about the question and about your first answer. Since we're a little bit behind schedule, I'll ask each response to be no longer than 3 minutes, so we have enough time for everyone to share your thoughts, and we are not behind schedule on your agenda. So without further ado, allow me to bring my first question to Mr. Muralithas. The title of this debate is quite suggestive and it proposes a reflection about how parliaments, devolved legislatures, subnational legislatures, handle information from both the legislative process, but also from the administration of the institution, ranging from XML standards, passing through different digital document management systems, and even chewing paper processes. Focusing on your reality in your parliament, what are the main challenges and limitations that the in-paper process creates that you would like to overcome? And in case of Mark, when you're going to comment, please share your vast experience working with different parliaments and your impressions about the same questions. So, Mr. Muralithas, would you like to answer that in 3 minutes?
Yes, that is a very good questions, because actually the Parliament of Sri Lanka not complete the 100% not convert to the digital format because of there are several lack of resources, lack of technologies issues are there. So the our library, the Parliament library is not the fully digitalized library right now. There are one of the foreign NGOs has been funded to digitalize the very important documents. Example, the hands-on reports, some other acts, some other bills, some other speeches have been digitalized. The progress, the work in progress are going on right now. Not all the documents have been not digitalized. It's one of the problem actually. So the members and the staff of the parliament have been identified importance of the digitalization of the parliament library, because there are wonderful documents are there. So some documents are unable to handle by manual. So urgently it have to digitalized with the modern technology. Actually, in present we don't have enough trained staff to digitalize the document, because we have limited staffs right now. So we have to improve the capacity of the staffs. They have to develop their knowledge of the ICT and other technologies. So at the same time, we want to improve the modern devices to use the documents and to communicate the members in the parliament and the staffs. So we have to improve the good understanding among the member of parliamentarian and the staff of the parliamentarian. At the same time, one of the presenter said on behalf of the Kenya did their best, I think. So we are publishing the order paper, business of the reports. So we are partly publish the documents as use them the paper based. At the same time, we have to convert to the digital publications 100%. It is good for the nature and the institutions. So it is very good initiate. We have to work together among the parliaments. There are see the Commonwealth Parliament forums are there, IPU parliaments are there. So we have to share our good knowledge among the parliaments. This forum also one of the good opportunities to learn and share their knowledge. So we have several lack of resources, lack of technology issues, lack of technological platforms are the problems. So we have to utilize all the platform, all the resources with the help of the other expertise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muralithas, for your opening response. Mr. Clement, would you like to comment on what Mr. Muralithas just said and on my question as well?
Yes, what I agree with what Mr. Muralithas has said. It has to be a process. Because parliaments, as we said earlier, are very traditional in nature, and technology could be quite alien in some of them. So it takes a bit of time. You require resources. You require resources in terms of finances and people to run even the systems. So the digitalization of documents is the starting point. So the various reports, the various votes and proceedings, the committee reports, the laws that have been passed for ease of access at various times, even for reference purposes in the lawmaking process, even before you go to computerization of the actual process of the lawmaking process. So it takes a bit of effort, and I'm happy that they're making some progress, which is the same thing we are trying to do and improving every new year.
Thank you so much, Clement. Tahir, would you like to share your thoughts on this?
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, my apologies for the reason there is an electric issue over here. Electric breakdown is going on, due to which my video is sometimes not available and sometimes it is available. At the same time, if we start from this episode, these are the reasons due to which the digitalization is not preferred in such countries. This is the basic example, because of the fact that although the National Assembly is also doing its efforts for provision of the software generating system as well as the data maintenance on its website, as one of my friends from the Sri Lanka was telling us about his procedures, that answers and debates and all these things are available on their website. Similarly, if we talk about the National Assembly of the Pakistan, all these starting from the order of the day, all these legislative proposals introduced by either government or by the private members, all these things are available in the form. Even the debate of the House is also available at the website. But at the same time, if we talk about the procedure which is practically to be carried out in the National Assembly, it is it cannot be possible for the time being to convert it total to the digital technology. There is a unique issue in the Pakistan. It is a although it is a bicameral system, at the same time it is bilingual system, because the national language of the Pakistan is Urdu. At the same time, the official working is used to be in the English language. So, there are some issues. There are some members from remote areas of the Pakistan which are unable to understand even written papers in the English. So we must have to print out that in the translated form of the Urdu. So, keeping in view these things, seems to be, for the time being, seems to be quite difficult thing to transform the whole technology from paper technology to paperless technology. Although these things are currently available, even if order of the day is announced a day before the session, The whole agenda of the session is placed at the website. Notice for that. Meetings, even the standing committees meetings agenda is also placed on the website. Similarly, each and every issue which is going to be discussed before the assembly, and each and every decision which is going to be which has been decided by the House, is at the same time put on the website of the National Assembly. But unfortunately, nobody bother to go for that and get it digitalized form. Everyone prefers to use the hard form of that document. For this is an inbuilt satisfaction. Without that hard copy, they don't seem to be satisfied with the performance of the and working of the assembly. They currently about this issue, I have to say only these words. Then let's see what will be the next question. I will definitely respond about that.
Thank you so much, Tahir. Mark, would you like to share your thoughts on this topic as well?
Sure. Thank you, Luís. And again, great to be with all of you again today. From what we have seen in our work with parliaments and governments around the world, it is very much as described here in terms of the challenges to modernization, digitization. And the first one always is resources, and sometimes that the resources issue can include reliable power, and that's a real issue. But along with that, when you think about what it takes to get to a modern state, like in an earlier presentation with the government of Scotland, where they've moving to full digitization and data structures and very modern approach to all of this, I think one of the key impediments can be the lack of expertise in a government and the lack of expertise in-house. So often the technology teams inside governments are charged with maintaining the legacy systems, the complicated web of old systems, and they've developed deep expertise in keeping those running for years and years and years, often long past their expire date. But it often means they don't have the time or funding to continue their education with newer technologies and newer ways to do things. And so that lack of expertise in the newer systems, which are really complicated, can often be an impediment. So I think those are at least a couple of the key challenges we see. And there's, of course, the overarching one, which can often be the cultural challenge of a resistance to change, resistance to moving into new systems when you're working with traditions that go back decades or hundreds of years. That can create combined a pretty good blocking of modernization. But I think we're going to get into, as the discussion continues, some ways to move through that.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your closing considerations. Tahir, allow me to ask you the second question. Among the considerations of the challenges to transition a legislature to a paperless process, either with a digital document management system or XML formats, there are legal concerns about the validity of the procedures and the documents in its output. My second question focuses on this consideration about the compliance of this process with the rules of procedure and other legal norms in your parliament, and phasing out the in-paper documentation in favor of any digital formats. What is your consideration about this, Tahir, in 3 minutes, please?
Thank you once again. As far as the first part of the question is concerned regarding legal concerns, if there will be a political will or there is a revolutionary thoughts behind that idea, then I don't think it is a difficult thing to adopt. Definitely a paperless technology always helps and provides an efficient, speedy disposal of the work pending at different desks. Instead of going from desk to desk for each process and approval from each table and different offices, because practically when a paper is moved, it goes from lowest level to the highest level for its approval, and it involves almost 3 to 4 steps from lower staff to the higher staff. As far as the legal concerns are there, for that purpose there should be the rules which to be amended. every parliament, I believe so, as in the Pakistan, the parliament have its proper rules of procedure for conduct of the business in the National Assembly. So similarly, there might be in other parliaments, there might be the same rules which are to be followed. If they transform the procedure for the approval of the things or the approval of the procedures from paper technology to digitalization, or e-filing system if be introduced in the parliament, definitely it will excel and expedite the procedure. The only thing required is the political will for that purpose, or the amendment in the relevant rules. Because practically and currently, if we talk about right now, without proper documentation and without written format of approval on the paper, it is not supposed to be the valid document. Even currently, the insecurity level in the Pakistan is at this stage. If I issue any document after signatures, even then the people used to reconfirm from me either it is the real document, it is signed by you, it is a valid piece of the paper. This is the scenario and circumstances currently going on in my country right now. So that's why if you have to transform it into the digital system, then the reliability and belief system should be the promoted, and relevant rules should be amended accordingly. As far as the second part of the question is concerned, compliance of the process. Compliance of the process, I would say on this issue, that compliance will definitely be possible if rules will provide for that. If rules will not have any cushion and any condition about that it will be acceptable or not, then it will be quite difficult to go through and digest that paper on the digital format. The nutshell of all these discussion is that if we will have a proper will for transformation from paper technology to the digital technology, then it is not a difficult task to be achieved. And secondly, if we have practically to achieve it, it is not only beneficial, economical, but at the same time it will be an efficient procedure which will save not only the money, but at the same time it will also save the time and hecticness of the procedure.
Thank you so much, Tahir, for your considerations. Mark, would you like to comment that in 2 minutes, please?
Sure. I think these are real concerns in terms of how we really manage the transition from paper to digitization. Of course, there are concerns about security and authentication and so forth. We have seen over the years the rapid advancements in digital authentication software. There's lots of applications now that can do very good work. But we also know that governments still do rely on paper and still need to in some way or another. This is a transition. It's a long transition that we're going through. The U.S. Congress, which is becoming more and more modern and data driven all of the time, still relies on the paper document as the official record. Nothing happens until that final paper document is created. But all around it, they have been step by step transitioning to a more digital future and finding the advantages along the way. Paper always has security concerns too. It can burn, it can blow away, and there's always been that concern. And so you have to secure the paper as we have to secure our digital processes. We also know that a big part of that is showing how sustainable our governments can be as we move forward with other modern things in our society. And so government has to keep up. It can certainly, and I think it always should, keep one foot, or at least a toe, in the past and remembering its traditions, and some of those traditions will continue to be paper for some time. So.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your considerations. Mr. Muralithas, would you like to share your comment in 2 minutes, please? Mr. Muralithas, you are on mute. We cannot hear you.
Okay. Right.
There he goes. Now we can hear you now.
Yes. Okay. The former speakers mentioned that things. security is one of the issues. If we can't believe the 100% the accuracy and security on the digital formats. So the problem is we have the very good cyber security. There are some issues are there. Cyber crimes and cyber attacks will be happen in the our server or Parliament website. So we have to be managed. We have to be strong cyber security system among the Parliament and the members and staffs. So we have to maintain the central storage capacity and the security and the resources. It might be a little bit expensive. We have to invest in the server capacity, server security, and cyber security. So it's one of the importance. Some documents might be kept as a paper format because of the examples, some amendments, some confidential documents might be keep as a paper formats. So it is not a big issue, but we have to invest very much amount of money in the cyber security and the server. That's my conclusion of the subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muralithas. Mr. Clement, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yes, thank you very much. I've listened to the last presenter and it just occurred to me, the mistrust that is there on the digital record sometimes can be grievous. We had a case at one point where in the process of transferring data, it was budget time and a zero was added and it changed an entire budget and it became a national crisis. So the level of trust must be retained at the back end of authentication. How do we authenticate the data that has been? So an audit trail would be very important for all the transactions that are there in the digital platform. And the Parliament must invest in the back end of security of the data that is being moved, whether it's a bill that is being in the House or a report, because any small modification makes the members of Parliament doubt the entire process. That is my comment.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clement, for your comments. I'm just will inform that Mr. Tahir had his electric failure and he's unable to continue with us, unfortunately. So in a future occasion, we will welcome Mr. Tahir again with all the colleagues here. And obviously, we're going to make all the proper connections so you can continue this discussion with him by email or WhatsApp or any other means. So thank you so much, Mr. Clement, for your considerations. Allow me to bring my third question to you, Mark. There are interesting cases of parliaments that successfully managed to digitally transform their management of information, no longer considering managing documents, but data, and something that allowed for greater integration between internal systems and areas in the parliament. And even in case of bicameral parliaments, the flow of information between the two houses. And I can say that that happened here in Brazil, for example. Based on your experience, Mark, what are the necessary steps towards this goal and what are the challenges along the way?
Thank you, Luís. I think there are several necessary steps to keep in mind. The first is to think about small steps, not big steps all at once. When we have worked with legislatures that have had very big ambitions for digitization, one of the mistakes that we often see is thinking they should try to do everything all at once and try to fix this system, that system, from drafting and amending all the way through journal production to, everything. And that often is being driven by the fact that the systems are breaking. We've worked with systems that are decades old and they no longer have support and people don't know how to support them any longer. So often they have to try to do everything all at once because they have no other choice. But that is a very risky way to go about it because it can be very, very, very expensive. You can have to end up having to wait a long time for a system to come fully into production. So what we have seen, the most successful projects have been those that start with prototypes, those that start with proofs of concept, pilots, and start to identify areas where there can be small victories along the way, and you can maintain a constituency and support for the modernization. And you don't risk failure, which we have also seen happen out there. But then another key step is at the very beginning is to think about how you're going to really secure your data for the future. And that must mean standardizing your approaches, standardizing your data in its structure. We work with XML, and we work with the international standard of Komontoso as the way to digitally represent legislation as data in ways that are non-proprietary. No company owns it. It's a standard that's maintained by neutral bodies, and governments participate in this. And so you don't end up locked in, having your technology locked into one single vendor, which can be a very, very big risk, and something that governments tend to regret a few years later, sometimes decades later, that they can't move because of that. So I think those are a couple of the key considerations to think about in moving forward. And those are some of the things that we've seen help make sure that success will happen.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your considerations. Mr. Muralithas, would you like to share your comments on this topic as well?
Hello, can you hear me? Yes. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Yes, okay, thank you. So now we are in the digital world. So all the activities going to digital format. So the COVID problem was a big lesson learned from that digital platform is very, very important. All the activities, the example all the transactions going to digital formats, example the money transactions, and then the knowledge sharing. So this is one of the good time to convert the digital transformation. So we have to invest in the digital technology and then digital infrastructure. Actually, so we had the bad experience. One of my friends in Pakistan, now the power cut. So it is basic infrastructure, lack of basic infrastructure in Pakistan. Same in Sri Lanka also. In Sri Lanka, I think daily 2-3 hours will be power cut. So we are in that city of Colombo. So we don't have that issues in the part of the rest of the other country, other part. So there are power cut. So it is one of the basic problems. Problem is we don't have enough basic facilities. So because the infrastructure there, but the problem is resources, fuel shortages, foreign currency shortages. These are the basic problem. So this is the problem for some countries. Some countries are okay, good. So they don't have enough problem. So we have some problems because of the resources, crisis. So the natural disasters. So these are the external factors are affecting the digitalization problem, digitalization progress. So these are we have to unavoidable situations. So we are talking about the digitalization, digital formation, something. But unfortunately, we are facing the basic problem of the country. Example, electricity, fuel problems, transportations. These are one of the. So we need the faster Wi-Fi connections, telecommunication facilities. Very important. So we have to eliminate fundamental or basic infrastructure problem. This is one of the challenges for some countries, like South Asian countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muralithas, for your comments. Mr. Clement, would you like to share your thoughts on this topic as well?
Yes, I've noted Mark talked about a common tool, and I remember at one point the African Parliament had a project with the UN agency to try and standardize the implementation of various documents, the document tracking system, the procedure of the House, the flow of the House procedure, corrections on a document. I think it's a very important point that as the implementation of projects of that nature are done in the houses, and especially in reference to two houses, the bicameral setup, one, there has to be proper coordination. The documentation of the requirements must be there. The involvement of stakeholders, but above all, the choice of the tools that are going to be used. Do you want to do open source or do you want to do proprietary? There are parliaments that choose some elements of proprietary, but also there are those that are increasingly, even us who are moving towards open source, but you require a good support system. And that's where the Commons project would have been very appropriate. So I would recommend those 4 points, the choice of the tools being key in terms of implementation, how to implement, whether you are doing open source applications, which are freely available, but with support from a community, or you go proprietary, depending on how much of your implementation you're going to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clement. We're going to head out to our final question, and I'll ask Mr. Clement to be the first answer this time. And traditionally, Mr. Clement, our last question always focuses on the future of parliamentary modernization. And today it couldn't be different. Looking at your needs in parliaments in the coming decade, what are the tools and functionalities you would like to have available in the Parliament of Kenya, and how it would transform the way the institution operates today?
Thank you very much, Luís. In addition to the various other projects that we are doing, the next 10 years, our major focus would be the use of artificial intelligence, AI, in the areas of document reading, voice recognition, because members of parliament do speak. What they do mostly is speech, which is translated into text, which is then translated into a law. So I would want to imagine the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in chamber management from the input side, when they speak in the House, the recording of it, being able to transcribe this into the recordings of Parliament, then being accessible. A way that this complete process of the speech is given, the audio is done well, the production of the Hansard, which is the official recording, is done, posted somewhere, and it's possible now to track that document to the end, all the way to the Attorney Generals or wherever it's applied. That's one. Then two is the integration of the various tools. So that, for example, when a member of parliament, you saw an earlier presentation I made, we have a biometric system which registers that somebody has attended the House. There is an electronic voting system. There is the system for broadcasting. There is the system for Hansard. I would want to see a way of integrating all these systems in such a way that they can communicate. And on the admin side, I want to believe that it is possible to integrate the House processes systems to the admin side. For example, on an enterprise resource planning system of a type that manages the admin side of things. What member attended the sittings? What do they qualify to be paid for? Whose deductions are there? The admin side, which is very key to members of parliament. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Clement, for your considerations. Allow me to invite Mr. Muralithas to share his comments and share his thoughts on this topic as well.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Muralithas. Oh, okay.
I think yes, hello, can you hear me? Yes, hello, can you hear me? Right, good. So we can't expect 100% provisional in the technology of the members of parliamentarian based on my experience. So we have 225 members are there. Some are okay, some are good, some are okay, some are very low, or in the IT and technology. So in my point of view, so we have to design, we have to provide 225 device. That's called, it's like a iPad or something. Yes, iPad, or it's the portable device, iPad. So so the Parliament, the IT divisions can update all the publications, order paper, then Hansard, then the committee reports, research papers, the minutes. So we can update in the particular device. So it is very easy to handle the all members of parliamentarian. So all this is specialized for the particular purpose, only used for the parliamentary documents. So the parliament email, parliamentary speeches, order books, minutes, committee reports, and the other various documents, the budget speeches, like that. So we can update all the documents in the particular devices. So it will it will easy to open and see what is going on for parliamentary live the progress, live telecasting. So it is might be useful. Otherwise, if they send that their personal computer or personal device, so they will receive so many emails, so many documents are there. So we have to simplify how handle the user friendly of the parliament documents. So my point of view, so in future we have to provide 225 particular devices to access the parliamentary documents and journals and other publications. This is my idea to improve the usage of the digital publication of the parliament. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Muralithas, for your comments. Mark, would you like to share your thoughts on this as well?
Sure. Thinking about the tools of the future and what I'd like to see, what we'd all like to see, I think we're going to continue to see, and probably at a faster pace, more and more effective tools for increasing efficiency, for increasing visibility into activities in Parliament, whether it's through use of AI or some of the things we're doing with first laying down that standard structure of data, which then allows applications to be built on top of it. So I think these things will start moving quicker and quicker, and I think governments will have more choices on the kinds of tools that will be available going forward. But I guess the tools I would most like to see be implemented are those that do a couple things. One is to create greater transparency for our governments and create greater accessibility throughout the process of how a bill becomes law, and throughout all of these various parts of the process of legislating, where often things can go dark and the public can't really see what's happening. But I think more and more tools that can allow greater visibility are better. And second, and I think it goes along with the first, is tools and applications that create greater resilience for government. We see around the world right now, democratic governments just getting hit with big challenges and forces that are trying to destabilize these governments. And so the technology needs to be there to help governments maintain themselves, maintain their resilience, and also to maintain the confidence of the public in government itself and the processes that are vital parts of democratic governments. So I'm hopeful that the tools that companies like us, like we develop, and others around the world, and also the technology shops inside government, are really focused on those two things, resilience and transparency in these processes.
Thank you so much, Mark, for your considerations. We are reaching the end of our debate, unfortunately. But before we go, I'd like to yield the floor 1 minute to each one of you. If you have any final thoughts, feel free to share them. Mr. Muralithas, would you like to start? Any final thoughts in 1 minute, please?
Yes.
Mr. Muralithas,
Yeah,
would you like to share
so much. Yes, thank you so much for the good opportunity to share our experience and to learn their other expertise. So please conduct this type of webinar or discussion in future also. So I like to work together in future with the other parliamentary staff, especially the Kenyan expertise. He did his best in the Kenya. So we have to learn from him because he did his best. So I know I went through Kenyan Parliamentary Research Division also. They are doing their best also. Is it correct? Thank you so much. So we will work together with help of the expertise. It's one of the knowledge sharing opportunities, all of us. Thank you so much for your good opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Muralithas. Mr. Clement, would you like to share any final thoughts in 1 minute?
Yes, thank you very much, Luís. Like the previous speaker said, he has a very long, tough name, so I can't pronounce it. But I want to agree with him. We need to collaborate more. So collaborative efforts, sharing of knowledge through such seminars, and also if there are tools that we can access, because I know there have been various projects where parliaments come together to try and share platforms, the standards, like their common also, training possibilities, even through webinars will be very useful. So webinar like this. So I thank you very much, Luís, for the invitation, and I look forward to more of such presentations. Thank you very much. And you're welcome to the Parliament of Kenya anytime.
Thank you so much. It'll be a pleasure to visit the beautiful country of Kenya. Mark, would you like to share your final thoughts in 1 minute?
Yes, as long as I get to go to Kenya as well, I would love that. So, no, I think this has been a very good discussion, and I think, as always, these discussions we get to learn so much, particularly because we're touching all of these different parts of the globe and learning how different we are, but also how common the challenges are with modernizing our legislatures. There really are some similar themes that we see again and again, and I thank you, Luís, and your team at Bússola Tech and all those who are participating to allow us to have these discussions. And I look forward to more in the future. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Hopefully our next discussion can be in person. It would be a pleasure to meet all of you, to have a coffee, to have a beer, and we continue this discussion in person. In the meantime, it's a pleasure to host all of you virtually. All of you, we hope you have a good day, and hope to welcome you in a future discussion.